Hello, lovely people. I'm Sinead, and welcome. As you might be able to see over here, there is a lot of activity in the high rise. So what I want to do today is build a toilet for this little bathroom and give you also a close-up of how the sink and everything turned out. So I'm going to turn around the camera and let you get in there and see. Here's how the sink turned out, and we've got Esme standing there next to it. You may remember her from the previous craft and chat, but I think that the way that the beads turned out for holding it all, you know, the knobs and the faucet all together, they turned out pretty good. And let's go over and get started on a toilet to replace this chair. Here's how our goblin's turning out. She's got the black eyes in there, and I don't have the jewels glued in place yet, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing, is putting the little glue-on pearls and gemstones as reflections in her eyes. The black looks okay, but not very friendly. And I think this changes it to a friendlier appearance. Let me know what you think. I'll set her aside and see what I've got going on here. So I started with the idea of taking a tube like this and cutting it short, and that becomes the basis of the toilet bowl. I wasn't doing any fancy shaping, and actually I believe this is what remained of the cutout for the sink. So I have glued, after rough cutting this out and tracing it for the toilet lid, I've glued a piece of twill tape on here, and the seat will be glued in place to where it doesn't move. And then the toilet lid will be glued to the other part of the toilet, the twill tape, not toilet, twill tape, so that it can open. So I need to glue this in place on here where it lines up. So I have that to do. And then I cut out some triangular pieces and wrapped a piece of sandpaper on the tube. And I actually think I used this tube, you know, just a piece of tube. And after wrapping the sandpaper on there, rubbed this on the sandpaper until I had an angle on the back. Let's see if you can see that. So that this more closely matches the curve of the tube. And then I can glue these in place on the back to support a toilet tank. Now the toilet tank, I created two ovals, one slightly smaller than the other one. It needs to be at least the thickness of the cardboard, maybe a little bit more bigger than the smaller one. And I actually used, again, a drafting tool for doing these ovals. You could freehand a shape, any shape that you wanted your toilet tank to be. I had the oval, and I thought it would look good with this circular toilet. And so then I took just this cardboard, the cracker cereal box type, and cut a 1-inch wide strip. And then I wrapped it around this, the smaller of the two. So I had this in the center, kind of the, you know, half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side, approximately, and wrapped it around with glue on the cardboard so that it stuck to itself. Did 2 layers. So we stop and start in approximately the same spot, and used some clips. Let's see, I used these kind of clips, but whatever you've got, clothespins, whatever, to hold the pieces together. And you can kind of see up here that there's some gaps, but we are pretty much solid. I mean, it's sturdy enough. So what I'm going to do is I am going to glue this into the bottom using our tacky glue.
If we can get the lid off. Always works better if you aren't holding something, I guess. And just put some glue around the edge. It might work better to put glue on the inside of the tube. I don't know. I did want to mention that I tried cutting an inch section of the tube and squishing it, but because of the way tubes for paper towels and whatnot are made, and this is a little heavier duty. I actually don't know what it's from. Probably from fabric at the sale loft. That's probably how long I've had it. Anyway, I took a section of it and I tried squishing it into the oval shape that I wanted, and because of the way in which these tubes are wrapped, it did a twist. I don't know if you can see it here, but I tried squishing it flat, but it's doing an odd twist, and that's just following the curve of the way in which these tubes are made. So I'm going to turn this, let's see, I'm going to get the excess first, against a flat surface and make sure it's even across there. Pick it up and find that I left glue behind. Okay, if you want to, you can clamp it. You could do that with rubber bands. I wouldn't do anything that went around that would clap the top side, because then you'll ruin your shape. Then I'm going to put glue up here on this edge, and I'm not going to even wait, for the bottom to dry. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I don't need this hollow space to be filled. I don't need to have access to it later. It's just going to be a hollow space in there, creating our toilet tank. And hopefully, by going ahead and gluing it, we're going to have some stability here in the shape. Try and center it on, because my shape, we'll call it the tank lid, is a little bit bigger than the tank. And I squished too hard again. Bummer. Well, that's the disadvantage of not waiting till the bottom is dry. Avoid squishing in on the bottom. Oops. I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Just remind yourself of things not to do, right? Okay. Now I'm going to do that again, and this time don't. Just use the edges. And then I'm going to put my 1, 2, 3 block on there, which shouldn't mess up anything, and we'll wait for glue to dry. Okay, the tank is mostly set up, not completely, but we're going to try and keep this seam towards the wall when we put these supports on. So trying to keep the angle here in the correct orientation to go on to the tube of the toilet bowl. Glue those in place right there. And I glued the twill tape to the lid. Which didn't, it was just a matter of orienting the, because my circle's not round. Okay, I think it's sort of dry enough. I just wanted to make sure that it was in basically the same orientation, matching. My oddly shaped circles, as you can see, they are not perfectly round. Everything I cut out is kind of not perfectly anything. The ovals aren't really right, and neither are the circles. And like I said, you can cut out any shape you want. You people that have laser cutters, have fun. Wow. that I think would be an ultimate tool there. It's the ability to program it in to cut me out a couple of perfect circles. All right, so I'm trying to get this actually flush with the back of the tank here, which this one isn't. Oops, it's stuck. I may have to glue that again. Everybody popped off. Okay. Yeah, I think my glue was a little dry. I don't know. It feels not solid. And that feels like it went all along the side, not on. Let's see if I've got a toothpick over here. Re-aim that. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit. I think that's about. So, back of the toilet tank with the angles towards the toilet bowl. Did I just say that backwards? I think I did. These angles towards the toilet bowl. And then we can put the glue on here and see if we can get it to go right onto the tank. And like I said, this is not perfect, but it should help it to make a little better contact. And I want it to be up high enough to not interfere. That might actually. Ooh, let's get this lid in there and see. Maybe should have done that first. Well, I did not account for the lid. So I'm gonna pull that off, wipe the glue away, get the lid on. We're gonna have to glue that again. Do over that whole thing. Okay. I don't know how well this twill tape is gonna hold up over time, but I guess we'll find out. And I only need the glue where the edge of the tube is, so it probably would have made more sense to stick it on the tube, but I didn't. We may run into a problem with it opening. Okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, everything just seemed to need to be redone. So put it on here. Should it go up? Yeah, I feel like that. Okay. Keep going. I still don't know if that's going to work. We may have created ourselves a bit of a problem. That may not work. Oh, nope. See, when it goes up, that's in the way. Okay, so I gotta re-engineer my tank. So I'm gonna stop and have a think. Okay, the problem wasn't the height that I was putting this on, so it can be on here below the toilet seat. That's not the problem. It's when I go to put the tank on. So don't put the supports to the tank first. Wait until you've got them attached to the toilet bowl, and then you attach the tank back far enough so that the lid still opens. And that is going to be right there. It's going to have a little gap. I mean, just like on a regular toilet, if you think about it for a minute. That is where it needs to line up. So put some glue on here. Be sure that when we put the tank on, we leave that gap. And again, trying to center. Okay, I've lost my gap. Trying not to press too hard. We know what happens when I press too hard. Everything goes flying. Nothing like an exploding toilet. Okay, that, I think we're going to set it down. We're going to set the toilet seat up. Make sure that we're in the right place. It's sliding around on me a little bit, just a tiny amount. Okay, I think we're okay side to side. It still feels like it's getting in the way. Yeah. I'm going to slide it back just a little bit. So, also feels kind of like I'm going to end up overbalanced, you know? But I guess that's where attaching something, I don't know, maybe a base might make that work. This is where we're going to stop for today, I think. Hey, hanging it upside down, I can say what I'm running into. So it's open, but it doesn't necessarily want to stay there because it's hitting the overhang on the toilet tank just a little bit. But I think I finally got it back far enough on the supports that we're okay. All right. Now, after it's dry, I'm going to put a little hole in here and grab some more copper wire and glue it in there. But I won't do that, glue that in until after I've painted the toilet. Another thing you could do if you wanted is you could fill this gap in here with clay. Just be sure that you don't interfere with your lid opening. But that will make it look better from the top. Not that, in most instances, are you going to see that gap? Are you going to really register it? I don't know. But yeah, I might end up filling that with clay or something, just to, yeah, it'll also help to solidify this whole thing, especially if you like fit it in there and then glue it in place. And then the next step will be to paint it. Oh, we don't tip over. I thought we were going to. I was almost certain it was just going to fall backwards. All right, so there's the beginning of our toilet, and that's it for this week. I will show you the finished toilet after we've got it all painted up and everything next week. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I put together this little wonky toilet, and enjoy your crafting. Have a delightful day, a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.